What's up, guys? It is that Panda Guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're gonna be having a little bit of fun here, looking at some more Island Raid. I will let you guys know that I am a little bit tired right here, by the way. I just finished helping my sister move out of her other house into her new house, so I am a little bit sore right now. So do work with me, okay? But we're gonna basically look at the actions that happened in this video. I guess we're still not at the part where you get cut off. I feel like I'm maybe going a bit too slow. Maybe I'm pacing myself a bit too slow. Maybe I should cut out some of the PvP footage. Tell me if you guys would prefer that, because I don't want to take too long with this series, but I'm also not like in a rush either. Like I'm just, uploading these at my pace. I'm not really caring to upload them all at once. Also, I've just been doing 10-minute videos, so you guys aren't stuck here forever, and you guys are able to get that spice of life, and they don't feel like overinflated, in size. We do end up getting our tower swarmed here. I think it's like an issue of field presence. I think we just lack the one, like our major whales right now. We're offline. Or maybe not. I don't even know. I think we might have just been having trouble in the field. But our major whales were offline during some of these tower swarms you're gonna see in this video. We're gonna get a few of our towers swarmed, and our major whales were just offline, so we weren't able to push the field, and we were just forced to tank and tank and tank on these tower swarms, and it was not easy. Though I will say in this case, I think we traded better on this tower. Though some other towers we do not trade as well on. There should be one in this video where we kind of get disgusting, like in a bad way trades. I will say though, we were mostly on the offensive in this video at the very least. Because we still hadn't yet been cut off, and like I said in my last video, the second we got cut off, we just went full defensive mode for the most case, and we didn't really want to go in the offensive mode too much, because at that point we kind of understood that pushing them from mid would, I think it maybe potentially would have been doable given enough sacrifices. But the thing is, I feel the biggest issue is not only is there very limited time through our island, right? The amount of losses you have to do to kind of pop these towers, or we would have to make to pop these towers and maintain field control for the full amount of time is just, it's too much, and it's not worth it. I think it's just too much to try to do this, especially even with DHX, right? Like even if we tried to do a full push with DHX, I think it would just be too painful, and it's just not worth it at the end of the day, especially when you're taking the bad end of trades. I think maybe if we were trading well, we would have been more willing to throw ourselves to these towers, like no world's end, but we were not trading good. I think especially our whales were having to take on the brunt force of all the deaths and all that. So overall it just wasn't a good situation. Even though we had the overall might and alliance advantage here, it just wasn't a really good situation we put in, especially when you kind of get cut off into such a confined area. The amount of towers we could connect to, the amount of towers we could siege, and catching really weak garrison captains became basically an impossibility. In this tower, we did trade, I think, well, which was nice. We do get one more zero here. I think this was the last zero that we probably got on at least HMB. I think we got two, as you saw one at the end of the last video. This one was just, it was on a tower that we disconnected, and he was shielded previously, but oh my gosh, my words. His shield ended up dropping, so we did end up catching this guy before he could get online, which was lucky in our case. But yeah, I think HMB tries to drop another tower here, and we do end up popping it. I'm not sure if it's in this video or not. And they do. The thing is, I think we do end up dropping a tower ourselves in the bottom left corner, right, to kind of protect our flank a little bit. So even if they try to reconnect into a multi-tower, strong point where they could build at, it wouldn't work out. And I think that we kind of could have done better, because we built in this way that protected us, but we didn't build in like the bottom right corner, and I think that's where we ended up getting disconnected at, and that's what ended up doing us in at the end of the day. And I wasn't there, that's my problem, but I can only speculate where we got kind of cut off at based on what I had heard. Also, we were going for some crazy tower swarms here. We had Big Daddy and Samuel kind of coordinating, popping around back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they do get a few tower burns off, but HMB becomes wiser of this. They start getting really active. I think a lot of their players just came online, and they started teleporting, defending these towers with their lives. And it just became a very impossible task. We do manage to get, I think, one or two more burns off. And one of the burns is in a little corner area. Like the tower build was definitely awkward, and it made it hard for HMB to defend it in a really good way. This tower right here, it will end up burning. I don't think it's gonna burn on this swarm right here. I think there might be people who end up coming in, but we do end up getting a burn off on it. Or I guess we do burn it. I think we get it again though. But it's really hard because, like I said, these whales are just porting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Keep eating these towers, keep putting their garrison captains in, and this is where we want it to be. We wanted to have them as pressured as possible, as spread as possible into as many towers as possible. They were struggling with garrison captains at this point, as you can see. They were kind of swapping back and forth with their their heroes on different towers to try to make sure that we weren't able to trade really well. And I mean, of course, they still do have a lot of teleports, but I think if we manage to keep our position here and we still managed to build around to where their village was and maybe cut them off from the route, we would have put enough pressure on many different sides that this would have worked out. We even had DHX kind of build up mid. They built around mid. We destroyed some towers, let them build in, and we were planning to dissolve some of our pressure there, let DHX hold some of those towers, and they could maybe hold up on middle completely while we could focus on the flank completely, and we would be kind of more so safe there. But we, like I said, we do end up getting cut off, and this ruined our whole plan. I think this ruined the whole thing that we were kind of planning to strike. And like I said, I think if we managed to put pressure on their complete flank near their village, I think we honestly had this, and I think we would have had a chance of cutting them off because it would just be a matter of spreading them thin. But it just wasn't possible. And you will see here, they do manage to retake the field. It was really hard to kind of maintain field presence. We did have some random players kind of holding spots on the field who ended up getting blitzed because we were trying to make sure that they couldn't port in. And it just became impossible at some point because when you're fighting in their territory like this, I will say we do have the number advantage right now, which is kind of surprising as I thought we would get quickly overwhelmed, but they do end up kind of swarming and like bees over here, and then we end up getting overwhelmed and we kind of just have to, run off the field. And it was a tough situation though. This one was kind of close. I think we could have had this one, but we just couldn't maintain the field and we didn't have enough people on. And just too many whales were blitzing the field, like you see here. They just start coming in numbers, and when you're like, your refresh times are this fast, it's just impossible. It's literally impossible to maintain that. But I do give a little map overview here so you guys can get a little view. You see how we're building that tower in the bottom left. Like I said, it was built in a way that would protect us, but I think if we built one off to the right of that, where they possibly could have cut us off near the mountain, even if we had to defend the tower since it would have instantly connected to the HMB towers, I think it would have done us really well and forced them at the very least to make sure they had to burn that tower to kind of burn our back tower, because the second we lose that tower, we are screwed. And by we are screwed, I mean like our players who are, on that territory are screwed. I was on that territory and I went to sleep, but luckily for me, I was shielded, but I think a lot of people weren't shielded and they got caught off guard. And I never understand this. Like, even in an alliance like Boone, you would assume that a lot of these players would know better than to go offline or go to sleep or go working without a shield. You should really shield no matter what, no matter how much you trust an alliance, no matter how much you trust your group. There is always the possibility that you are gonna, get zeroed. Like getting pushed off, like getting your towers cut off can happen in an instance. Also, I think we didn't have our key whales on right here, and that's why we just kind of tanked this swarm for as long as we did. It was a little unfortunate. And this is actually the tower I was referring to that we traded poorly on. This was because we had someone on garrison captain who, I mean, they're not weak, but it's like when you kind of have these insane whales coming in who have like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 million my heroes. And let's say me, for example, if I'm defending a tower, I don't have like the worst gear in the world, but obviously my gear isn't the best. My parts aren't insane. I literally have like blue and purple parts, right? Like I would get obliterated by these whales. My armaments and my Peterson only add up to 1 million might. And for some people, well, maybe a majority of people watching this, that is decent. That is pretty solid. And, in maybe a smaller bracket, that would be the case. When you're taking on insane monsters like these, it just doesn't work out well. So I can't be a garrison captain unless it's for a swarm potentially to maybe deter people. But even then, I'm more appealing than obviously, our average run-in-the-mill. Well, that being said, that is it to the video. I do appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are looking out for the next video. So you guys have a great day or night, though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And that is it to the video. Peace out.